Oh my gosh, hello. Thank you so much for, pressing play on this podcast. My name is Julia Schroeder.
I'm Katie McGraw.
And I'm Mary Beth Colbix.
And if you're listening to this, there's probably a name of this podcast, but full disclosure, we don't know what that is yet. We haven't chosen it. But
we've thrown a lot around.
We've thrown a lot around. So if
we
it
may
is,
never name.
And it may just be blank. But if it is Savannah McCaskill Fan Club, I want to let you know at this point that I did win.
But I seconded her motion.
Yeah.
That's fine with me.
Okay, well then maybe
maybe that's the name. We'll find out.
I think it's a little creepy, but otherwise I'm good with it.
Yeah.
We'll workshop it.
So, we know a little bit about what we're going to be talking about, though, and that is women's sports in general. And in particular, in this episode, we're going to be talking about the Challenge Cup, which is the National Women's Soccer League, playing their coronavirus-constricted season all in the span of a couple months in Utah. And the three of us have been watching these games and have just been elated at how much fun it's been and how much fun it's been to chat with each other during these games and around these games, and everything surrounding the NWSL and the Challenge Cup in general has been just pure joy to us in these times. And so we were like, let's start a podcast.
Yeah, and I would like to say, so I know very little about soccer still, but I knew even less going into this. My experience with soccer is basically just like watching U.S. women's national team here and there. And I got to the point where I wanted to start supporting the full league. So I watched, and I had no idea what soccer was going into it. And now I have a basic idea of how to play it. I don't think that I could play it, but I know how to play it. And so I think it's been fun to watch it and to learn it. And I didn't expect how much I would get into it. When I started watching the tournament, I've watched every game. I've not only learned about soccer, but I've made a lot of observations otherwise. And I hope that all of our listeners know that much of what I'm talking about will be nonsense. And I hope you enjoy it, because that's going to continue when we talk about other sports as well.
So true. Yeah, I've also been kind of following the U.S. women's national team when they've been playing in World Cups for the past, I don't know, maybe 3 World Cups, but I never really got invested in the U.S. league until after this last World Cup cycle. So since then, I've been kind of taking in everything that I can, trying to learn as much as I can, because it's not the same game that you play in 6th grade rec soccer.
It's similar,
it's a
though.
different beast.
Turns out nobody wears giant 90s shin guards. That has been my biggest takeaway from this tournament.
Ankle guards. Oh my God.
The strap. Yeah.
I really have been like, wait, why don't they have full leg protection, full suit of armor on?
That is crazy.
Like I've witnessed in elementary school.
Yeah.
It honestly even is annoying to me that some of them wear their shin guards so damn low. That was always like a sign of like you were a bad soccer player if you like wore your shin guards so low.
that lady's got saggy shins. She's not good.
But they do. Tobin Heath, I think, started that trend. But anyway, so yeah, and I think a lot of people have really gotten on board with the U.S. women's national team, particularly after the 2019 World Cup, because they just put on such a show, and we're just like a incredible team to watch, literally perform. And I think that riding that wave into the professional league is super important, and to have people put their money where their mouth is in terms of watching these women play in the professional league is so important.
It's really the least we can be doing is watching these women play, and it's like the level of talent and the level of play that they're playing is just like insane. It's so fun to watch. They are true professionals and they're like killing it. So it's just, not only is it like, yeah, we get to support growing the game within our country, growing the women's game especially, but it's like, damn, this is fun. And I think it's just like proof that you don't need to know anything about soccer to enjoy watching.
At me next time,
Yeah.
Katie.
Yeah, so I think,
beef already in the podcast 2 seconds in.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah, no, I think like what we want to do is just encourage people to watch more women's professional sports, whether it's the WNBA, the National Women's Hockey League, which really needs our support, or like curling, like Mary Beth.
I can't wait to watch curling. You guys are gonna that's like the one sport I know about for some reason, and I've never done it.
Yeah, across the board, these sports need to be put on the map for women, and it literally we can't stress to you how fun it is to watch them play.
This is my life now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like,
I will say,
I can't talk to you unless you watch it as well.
Let me tell everybody that for this past month, and even when I was watching like the World Cup stuff last year, my sister has this whole time been like, why are you watching soccer? Who are you? You don't know anything about soccer. And I'm like, I can't stop. Like, leave me alone. I like it.
It's a case study.
She's been making fun of me. And then I made her watch a game with me like a couple games ago. And she fully is so obsessed that she went out and bought a soccer goal, and she bought goalie gloves, and she makes me play with her in the backyard, and she's like, won't stop watching now. And so now I'm going to hold it over her head for the rest of her life. But
I would like to come over.
Do it. Come watch it. Come watch and come.
Oh, no, I want to come kick soccer balls at your sister.
Okay. I was doing it earlier.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's what we're saying.
I'll BYOB. Bring my own ball.
I've called her out, but I feel like she deserves it for making fun of my soccer enjoyment. But now she also enjoys soccer and doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah, honestly, shout out to Laura. And like it starts with the Colbixes, and then where do we go from there?
I don't know. We sweep the nation.
If you're watching this in terms of listening to it right now, and you're like, okay, why am I listening to this? Just hang on, because you're gonna get obsessed just like the rest of us.
We're gonna tell you everything we know about soccer and everything we know about not soccer.
Exactly. This is, and we're gonna this podcast is gonna run the gamut of like, we know the most intricate details of like the stand Twitter. Emily,
I can tell you exactly what time the sun glare goes away.
Yeah, and that is 7:30 EST.
It's 25 minutes into the game. The sun glare goes away.
Yep, exactly. Oh, it's beautiful though. So we don't get it so much.
We know the facts, and we know a little bit not the facts.
We know about soccer, and we also know that the Charlie Puth has written at least 2 jingles for Subway.
One for Tristan, one for Matthew.
And thank you to Tristan and Matthew for asking for those $5 footlongs to come back, because we were all thinking it.
Songs of the summer.
Oh man. Absolutely. So what we're trying to say is, you're in for some inside baseball, no pun intended.
Some tasty treats.
I don't know what you're saying now.
Tasty treats, and also for just like talk that has nothing to do with any fucking thing at all, but that we find interesting.
And then once we've moved on from soccer, you'll hear us talk nonsense about some other sports.
Exactly, because all women's sports are important, and including curling.
Especially curling, I would say.
I agree.
Sure. Okay, without any further ado, let's get into it. But we are 3 Wim XN, JK. We're three women. We're three gals who are decided that we're gonna just record ourselves having conversations about women's sports because we have found ourselves pretty much obsessed, and we think that it's an important issue to be talking about and get into mainstream conversation, and overall be more widespread than it has been certainly in the last several decades, and even more than in the last couple of years, which it is coming into itself a little bit more, but only as the U.S. women's national team has proven themselves to be better athletes than anyone else on this planet. So it shouldn't take that. That's why we're here.
Yes, we would like to signal boost the ladies.
Hey.
And not just because they're ladies. I mean, that's definitely what probably drew us in, but because they're fucking sick.
Because
can we swear on
this? Women.
Can I swear?
Sorry. No.
Oh, okay. Because they're
bitchin'. Sick.
I don't think Katie knows how to not swear when she talks about how powerful women are.
You know, when I just think of women, automatically I just start cursing.
Yeah. So do men sometimes.
Yeah.
Wait, am I a man?
And we'll get into this, but the whole AOC thing. Yeah. What's his name?
Are you Representative Kevin Yoho?
Yeah. Wait, his name's Kevin?
I don't know. I made it up.
I think it's Ted.
I think it's Ted. Okay. Yeah, I'm full Ted Yoho supporter on this one. Yeah, exactly. But I say that to say that we're not coming at this from a Wikipedia knowledge base.
Yeah, you're not going to get a lot of facts.
If you're looking for statistics, you can see yourself out.
Any that we know came from Google while we were watching the game.
But what we do have is a lot of heart and a lot of love for the game and games. And we're gaining knowledge as we go. Yeah. And I think it's worth mentioning, if I can, that I played sports all my life, and even so, no less than I should.
I think it's worth mentioning that I played sports through 8th grade and then was a band kid. So that's about my level.
Let's talk about our relationship with sports. Okay, wait. So, Mary Beth, you played as a kid.
I played softball through 8th grade. I played for Frost Middle School, Frost Phantom.
Maycat, shout out. Oh, yeah.
Julia, for people that don't know us, Julia lives in New York City, and Katie and I are in Michigan. But she used to live in Michigan with us, and we're from the same hometown and sort of knew of each other in high school, but did not know each other.
Yes,
that's
we had
cute.
Right? Yeah. And also, okay, and so this is Julia speaking. Also, Katie and I sort of knew each other, but didn't know each other. All three of us had these, dare I say, connections.
Coincidental connection. We were like ships passing in the night, like just barely missing each other.
Exactly. And it seems so like paranormal too. Like I just feel, I don't like really even know what that word is, but I would like to just throw it out there as like, that's what our connection was.
Yeah. It was, I believe it's destiny for us to be doing this podcast with our remedial sports knowledge together.
Completely agree.
Celebrate the talented ladies.
It should be mentioned that we obviously don't have a name for this yet. So, I mean, anything's on the table, and
yeah, throw them out. Throw out the names to us, and we'll get there in the end. By the time we're done doing this podcast, we will maybe name it.
Yeah,
not this one in particular, but every episode we choose to make.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, we've been amped about women's sports. I And so, which is why we're doing this. And part of the reason why we're coming together at this time and the urgency is so high is because the National Women's Soccer League is playing in the Challenge Cup right now, which is the coronavirus version of their league.
Good.
Right?
Good description.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know.
Which has made it so much cooler, though. And also, the quarantine has made it so that my schedule is fairly free. And I've been able to watch these games. So it's been, I've been quite blessed. And so I will go so far as to say, COVID is a blessing to us all. And everyone is benefiting from it. And I'm pro COVID.
Pro COVID, good to
Wow,
know.
really
I'll
coming
write
out
it
there.
down. First, pro Mr. Yoho, whatever is his name. Even is his last name Yoho? Have I just made it up completely now?
Oh no,
it's
it is
Yoho.
it.
It's Ted Yoho, right?
Yes,
I don't
Florida.
know.
He's got
don't know
daughters.
who he
He's
is.
got
Wait, and
but
he's a senator.
rude.
What's his
He's
name?
I think he's a
in the House.
representative.
Senator.
I don't know anything about him, but he's rude. He's a rude man.
Watch what you say about him.
He's your guy. pro corona all around. But like, yeah, as far as the Challenge Cup goes, I think that it brings us back to like why I wanted to do this podcast was to show that like women, regardless of their knowledge of sports, can support professional women in sports, even if they don't know anything. I know nothing about soccer, as Julia can attest to, from me being like, who's this green outfit lady and why is she standing so far away from that net?
That was the goalie.
She's making me nervous.
And for the record, it was the goalie, Jane Campbell. And
she did make me nervous a lot.
Like two goals that game where she just got chipped.
But look how many she saved in the end. She's on to the finals, right? Am I thinking of the right person?
You're correct.
Absolutely
She is.
are.
See, I'm learning. And you can too if you support women's sports. But yeah, it's fun even if you don't know anything about it to watch and to learn about them and to make other observations that have nothing to do with the sport and laugh about those, which I have plenty and I will bring up all the time as we do this.
Yeah.
But
I
just think
also,
it's cool.
Yeah,
do.
it's freaking awesome. And also the WNBA comes back on Saturday, so
And spoiler alert, I know less about basketball than soccer,
Oh,
regardless of the Detroit Shock hat I'm wearing right now.
When I tell you I know nothing about basketball, here's what I know about basketball. Sue Bird.
Sue Bird, yes.
Sue Bird.
And because she has a connection to soccer.
And Diana Taurasi, and that's about it.
Well, okay, it's worth mentioning also that as a college soccer player, both of the people on this podcast, Mary Beth and Katie, know more than I do about the National Women's Soccer League and the U.S. Women's National Team. But it really is, to Mary Beth's point, a matter of watching these games and paying attention, and then you get obsessed.
It's true. Like, I
Not
can't
that I've
stop
listened
watching
before.
it. I've watched every game.
Also, my oven is on, so give me 1 second.
Julia's apartment is currently on fire.
Oh, Julia. Oh, she's alive. Okay.
Okay, hi. That was very bad. I made some chickpeas in the oven earlier and can see and can feel how hot it is. And I realize that the oven is on. I'm so sorry.
I'm doing the timeout symbol because I've just now learned that you can cook chickpeas in an oven. I don't know how to cook anything. I have very little knowledge about anything on this planet is what everybody's learning about me right now.
We found a really good hummus recipe in Core.
Wait,
It's
send.
really good.
Well,
I'll send.
I live nearby,
It's weirdly,
so drop
like,
some off.
Okay, well, it's weirdly like Ina Garten's recipe.
Oh, yeah.
And I
She
sent
is
it
Jewish.
to my Lebanese friend, and she was like, yeah, that looks good, because I wanted like her approval, because she's very picky about hummus. And she was like, that looks like it'll be good. So.
Okay, shout out to Ina too. Legend icon.
star in her own right.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to hummus.
Shout out to hummus. Yeah, maybe my favorite food. But whenever I make it, it's like too chunky because I don't ever take the skin off.
Oh, you got to take the skin off. Do you have a food processor?
I mean,
a blender?
I do have a blender. Vitamix in it is good.
This conversation might be ruining hummus for me.
No,
chunky skin hummus.
Sorry.
Chunky skin hummus.
Yeah.
No, don't let it ruin it. It's worth it.
I do believe that we did discuss while watching the Challenge Cup that I like to put paprika in my hummus.
Oh, you did? Yes. I did learn that about you. And Katie, do you like to put anything on your hummus?
I like to put it in my mouth.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Sometimes
I'll put feta on there. Well, what have it been? Okay. Okay. So speaking of hummus, the Challenge Cup is going on now, and the final is on Sunday. We're recording this now on Thursday, and in the final. So we're going to spend a little bit of time catching you guys up on like all the important stuff that's been going on in the Challenge Cup, including
at least what's important to us.
The coffee truck, which has been cool, and I felt like happy that they've had that. But first I want to say, just so, I mean, to get everyone sort of like legit caught up, in the final is Houston Dash and Chicago Red Stars, which we're excited about. What are our feelings on these two teams going?
Honestly,
Katie, take the reins.
I'm very excited. I think that Chicago has got a really like solid team.
Agreed.
They have Julie Ertz, who is quite possibly the best soccer player in the world. Love her.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think especially in was it last night? The game?
Yeah. Yes.
The semifinal last night was between Chicago and Sky Blue FC.
Holler.
No one can see, but I'm wearing a Sky Blue sweatshirt.
Exactly.
There was a lot of goals scored, so
most exciting game I would posit.
Yeah, it was exciting.
A 3-2. A 3-2 victory with Chicago beating Sky Blue, which was cool. I mean, Sky Blue played a great game. It was in the first 10 minutes, and I go, James, it's a high-scoring game. Get out here. Because he's always like, they should start with PKs, and then it would be high-scoring, and then the teams – and I'm like, sorry, what?
Get out of here, sir.
No, that's not sports.
But I'm super excited about Houston Dash too. They were like one of the bottom two teams last year and finished like 8th, I think, in the league, and they're just really scrappy. Yes. And Rachel Daly, who's their like scorer, she is like she gets very angry, which it scares me. Like if I were out there, I'd be like, ugh! But she's very passionate, very scary. And honestly,
I hope she listens.
I love a good underdog, so they've been super, super fun to watch. They had my favorite goal of the whole tournament, which we can talk about later. But
let's talk about it now. Let's talk about it now. Which one?
All right. I believe it was versus the Utah Royals. It was Shea Groom.
She's good.
She's great.
She's a good little player.
Her name was Groot for a second.
Shea Groot.
I mean, you didn't really. You just spelled it that way, and so now I assume that
I am Groot. I am Groot. But I think it was like a cross from Rachel Daly, and Shea Groom just like soared through the air like she was flying.
Mm-hmm. And what is she, 5'1"? I mean,
I don't know, but she just like headed it to the back of the net, and it was like she jumped up and like she paused midair, and then she just like boop,
it's like the jump. It was like the jump shot of goals.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah. She wears a pink scrunchie, as do many of them. Is that what's going on? Women?
You know, I would like to talk to them about that because my experience with the scrunchies is very negative in terms of like
Slides out your hair.
And yeah, but
I think what they're doing is putting a real one underneath, and then there's no way it holds anyone's hair that tight because it's not like their hair is like coming loose. It's
that must
staying real tight.
I've also noticed that nobody's hair comes loose, and my hair is like made of cobwebs. Nothing stays in it. It's so slippery. And like also, if I were to put it up in like a bun, it's the size of like a Hostess donut. Like it's too small for a scrunchie. So there's like I don't understand how they keep all their hair so secure. Like I would need like a staple gun and 4 different types of glue to keep it from moving.
Yeah.
So I'm very impressed by that.
You know, I feel like they have like some special athlete trick because I was like, this is embarrassing, but I was watching like a YouTube video of Allie Krieger talking about her bun, you know, her like super tight, like top of her head bun. And she like uses like 3 different, ponytails to like keep it, and then she sprays this thing to keep the hair from like moving, and so I think they just have tricks that we don't know.
My go-to was always high pony, and then this isn't what I do now, but this is when I played. Then I would just bunch it up. You know how you bunch up a shirt when you're about to tie-dye it? So I would bunch it up, and then I would need a little bit of a looser tie for the second one, and then you just tie it, and then it ends up being sort of looks like a little bit of a messy bun, but it just keeps it all in one place. Now I go full ballet bun because I have too much hair.
Yeah, you've got a lot of hair.
A lot of hair.
Honestly,
or
I
a
feel
braid
like we could just talk about only their hair because
some
of them have signature hair, like Becky Sauerbrunn. She's got that fishtail
which
braid.
Is always what I would do as well. The long braid. No, they came to play if they've got the long Sauerbrunn.
Oh yeah, like
braid.
She could whip her head around and smack someone in the face. Could that be called a foul, Julia?
No, but if you do pull someone's hair, that is a foul.
Okay, but if you smack someone with your hair,
as long as you don't touch someone else's.
Yes. Well, that is funny though, because if you did use it, I mean, think about how fast the game moves. Like, I'm thinking about your question literally, even though I know you asked it as a joke.
I was kind of serious, borderline.
Think about how like much technique you would need to like pull that off in the time, like of how fast the game moves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone just like Tasmanian devils down the field, whipping everyone with their hair.
When I was a youngster, I used to ref. And by youngster, I mean I was like old enough to drive at least. I had to get to games. But youngster in my own mind, I'm 84 right now. But I would say play on. You know what I mean? If I were to call that play.
You're down for everyone to play dirty.
Yeah.
2 hours.
Speaking of playing dirty, like Houston is a scrappy team, and one thing that like I've noticed is like whoever they play seems to like foul them kind of a lot, and I was wondering, is that a result of them being so bitch?
Are they fishing for some arm grabs is what you may be wondering, and the answer is I don't know anything.
I just remember, so here's like kind of why I'm like, Houston, we have a problem.
I want to hear this.
No. Last season, I feel like it was like one of the last games of like the regular season. Houston played North Carolina, and
who was the number 1 seed and
correct
out now. But keep going. And
on Houston is Christy Mewis, and on North Carolina is Sam Mewis. They're sisters, obviously, and Christy Mewis was called for a penalty in the box, and it gave North Carolina a PK, like in like the 88th minute or something. And it was tied 0-0. And Houston had been like working so hard to get like a draw between the two of them. And it was not a foul, but the ref like called it a foul. And then her sister took the PK and scored, and then Carolina won. So part of me is like, I think it would be really poetic if the Dash like like came out on top, and
Revenge
North
for
Carolina was knocked
this.
out in the first round,
100%. It seemed like Christy Mewis at the end of that game was pretty freaking psyched. And Sam was at the game. She was watching from the stands, which is important.
I didn't see that.
Yes, which was important because we were wondering, do they all, once they get knocked out, do they leave the bubble, the coronavirus bubble? I should call it the quarantine bubble.
Seems like they go home.
Yeah.
But Sam was there.
She's got a special pass, I guess,
and I bet
to watch her sis.
When you play on the U.S. national team, you can do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want. Yeah.
But Christy is the older, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I have.
Do you think she's mad
about what?
That Sam is on the national team and she's not?
I feel like they both were at one point, weren't they?
Really?
I feel like But
there we go again. I know fucking nothing, Jon Snow.
You just need to do a little bit of 3 a.m. Googling. That's usually how I learn.
Oh, actually, I am very good at that.
Yeah. Yeah, they were both. Yeah, Christy hasn't been called up for a while, but I've seen her talk in interviews and just say how that she's proud of her sister. I mean, what else are you supposed to say? But also that she knows she's pissed. But I think she knows that she wants to still be a part of the national team. So she's like, I realize that I have to work harder to be better. And so I think she's kind of wants to get back in the mix. So
I am rooting for her. I am rooting for everyone. Can the national team just be the whole league? Is that fine?
Yeah, I think it is fine.
I just want everyone to win.
But Christy Mewis, her hair is reminiscent of what mine used to be. Very high bun. You know what I mean? It's messy.
No. Were you a mean girl in soccer, Julia?
Okay, this is a good question. I was a little bit. I was very loud on the field, very commanding, and liked to talk. And most of it was positive, but just a lot of I also was the captain on
Look at you, girl.
Yeah, the point of this is to say that I also had a big old temper. So the littlest bit of injustice in the way of fouling or anything like that, if it didn't get called, I would retaliate big time. So I got a lot of fouls called on me and yellow cards this way of if someone bumped me or anyone on my team or whatever and it went uncalled, I mean all bets were off. And it took a little bit of anger management on my part to
that is awesome.
That down.
And
I am so happy to learn this about you.
From you. Yeah. If someone goes after someone that you're on your team that you care about, you're like, oh hell no.
I was about to say Mary Bridget. Shout out to Mary Bridget, though. We do love.
Shout out.
Also, real quick, Katie, careful of the mic.
Sorry.
Rubbing. No worries.
Also, I like your Hadestown shirt.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got too hot. Sorry, guys. I did.
Oh my God, I'm sweating my balls off.
I'm fine because I'm in a basement.
Yeah. Yeah. I am right by the air conditioner, but I can't have it on because it's loud as fuck.
Oh.
But people would always be surprised because I'm a nice person, technically, and pretty even keeled off the field. But I think it kind of all would come out and still
it's your place to vent. You belong. You are part of the Houston Dash at heart. It sounds like.
Yeah,
maybe but also I'm so afraid that somehow they're gonna stumble upon this someday, and then they're all gonna come after me.
No, we should say that
they really don't care about us.
Yeah.
I know, but still, what if they hear it? I'm nervous.
Yeah, and we will be tagging all of them in the description. Seriously, though, it's worth saying that we do love them. I think if you're blonde, you look like Regina George, though. You know what I mean? And they have a lot of blondies.
If you're blonde during quarantine.
If you're blonde during quarantine, sorry, but you are Regina George.
Just go full Regina.
But it is
because
funny.
like
They do have
everyone's
a lot of dogs.
grabbier. They do, yeah.
They do, yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. Oh wait,
I will just say though, like I think that there is something to be admired about every team.
Same.
Not just the ones that participated in the tournament. Gotta shout out Orlando, who did not participate because of Corona.
Yeah,
Julia didn't know it for a while. It was a surprise to you. Remember, you were like, wait, where is Orlando?
Yeah, well, and first of all, it's also worth mentioning that I wasn't watching these games. I probably missed 2, and Mary Beth was like, hey, you play soccer. Are you watching the Challenge Cup games? And I'm like, stupidly, no, I'm fucking available.
I check avail.
They're on CBS, and luckily we have CBS All Access because we watch Survivor. So it was all. So I mean, thank you to the both of you for making me remember my roots.
Yeah, we just want to bring you down to earth.
Yeah, we want you to get in touch with the people again. You know.
Exactly. But Katie, what were you just saying? They all have
just like that they're all really fun to watch, and that they all
Orlando
have something. Oh yeah, I was saying, and Orlando. I was so sad not to see them because they have one of my favorite players of all time.
Krieger,
which one?
Ashlyn Harris,
Sydney Leroux,
and Cindy Leroux.
Oh,
I just said Cindy.
But she's coming for you now too.
Oh, I hope she does. I love her so much. She's legit one of the funniest people on Instagram.
I follow her. She seems cool. I follow them all. They all seem funny.
Yeah, she's always one of my faves.
Every soccer player I follow.
Cutest
Not true,
son
everybody.
in the entire world and daughter. But Sydney Leroux and Megan Rapinoe.
No.
Or she no.
She's not a
Alex Morgan.
Oh, okay. Where's Megan Rapinoe?
She's in Seattle.
She's not playing in this
since
tournament.
When?
Since I started doing soccer Googling.
Okay,
at the very latest.
Incredible.
Yeah. How we I feel like there was something I was gonna say. Oh wait, but say, why is Orlando not playing?
Orlando, a couple days before the tournament, they had like 5 players and 2 staff members test positive for Corona. So they had to pull out of the tournament.
Because allegedly.
But also I feel like some of them also were false positives.
Yeah, some later tested negative.
Who knows how many people like actually had it. But
yeah, but they traced it back to the fact that some of the like rookie players went out to like a bar several times.
This pleases me to no end. Imagine Ellie Krieger just being like, you fucking idiots.
I would be more scared of Ashlyn.
Me too.
Can you imagine?
Yeah. Honestly, if I were a soccer player on that team, I'd be pissed, first of all, because I'm of the age that like I'd be running out of seasons to play. Mm-hmm. Like I'm getting older, but also that I didn't get invited to the bar. So like I get screwed over and I didn't even like get to have fun and get the Rona.
Straight up.
Oh yeah. Gosh, I'd be so frustrated. Apparently there's like a couple moms on the team. There's like a player who like just like in the last year like was going through cancer treatments and stuff. Like yeah.
Dude,
a lot of poor decision making.
Do some COVID shaming here.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean
don't go to bars. I mean if there's one thing we can say is we support Ted Rojo. No, seriously though. Oh, wait, isn't there another team that's not playing?
No, I don't think so. There's some teams that don't exist yet.
Oh yeah, we'll get into that. But it is worth mentioning, like, it's pretty cool how they're like taking care of this tournament, like all the players living in their own little they call it the bubble. Yeah. And I can only assume they're like hotel-ish type place. Yeah. Can we confirm?
It looks like based on what I've seen Twitter. Pictures of social media, it looks like a hotel or like some sort of like like senior living community where there's like common
Obsessed, I hope it's
spaces. Like
that.
that's what it looks like. I don't know about what Florida homes look like.
I know that they're not they're in Utah.
Yeah.
But they're not all in the same hotel because I remember reading that like one of the like Sky Blue, I think it was the general manager for Sky Blue, said something about they were within the bubble, like with the Houston Dash at a hotel. So they're all kind of spread out.
So that if there's like
which insinuates that they're not
one,
with
they don't all
others.
get it.
Right. Exactly. Or that like certain teams are together in the same space, but not all 8 teams.
Interesting. What if so think about your life. So we'll go based on the Detroit improv community because we all know those people.
Yep.
So think about if you were quarantined in like small pods of people with like another pod of people and you hated that other pod of people and had to live with them for like a month. Do you think that this is happening to these soccer players, or do you think they're all buds?
I think there's probably people that don't like each other, but I think a lot of them, you know, have like come into national team camps or like have like a lot of them have like come into national team camps together, played on the national team together, like have been traded around like from different teams. So I think a lot of them know each other. So I don't think it's like any of the like shit I have to be around Jennifer or anything like that.
Jennifer Garner.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I love Jennifer Garner.
Me too, and I would love to be
don't you dare
with her. If you had one team, who would you want to be quarantined in the same hotel with?
I don't know. I don't know any of these people.
Based on the way they play.
Oh, based on the way they play.
Yeah.
Tough question. I have liked Utah the most thus
That has
far.
been your favorite team.
That has been my favorite team. I've not picked a favorite because I'm too new. I did try to like Chicago, if you recall, but I have like a subconscious regional bias that does not allow me to.
Regional bias meaning that you were
bias.
Yeah, I'm like pro.
No, I mean like I really wanted to like love the Midwest team, but I feel like being a Detroit sports fan, you always hate the Chicago team. And so like I have trouble rooting for a Chicago team.
I see what you're saying.
And also I went to school in Iowa, and all of the people that went to school with me were from Chicago and like love Chicago sports, which made my hatred for Chicago sports grow.
That totally makes sense.
Because it was thrown at me often. But it is, I am finding myself rooting for the Red Stars, or as I like to call them, the Chicago Myers.
Honestly, as soon as I saw Meyer on those jerseys, I was like,
that's
it. Team
I
now.
love Meyer, so I need to look like I ran a Meyer 5K.
Yeah,
being in New York,
the most Midwest.
Yes, being in New York, Meyer is something I miss so much.
It's a good place.
I love it so much.
It's closing at midnight right now because of the pandemic. I had like 30 minutes to get some eggs the other day. It was very stressful, but I made it.
Are you the fact that you're going to a Meyer at 11:30 p.m.
Which makes sense to me,
eggs.
but it's also such a Doug thing as well. Like his prime time for grocery shopping is like
he's a ship shopper, so he's always at Meyer.
True,
but you're right. He does do all his shopping in the middle of the night. But anyway,
Chicago Meyer. We have who's CVS?
The Washington
CVS pharmacies.
CVS Spirit.
The New Jersey Meridian Health.
We got North Carolina. Who are they?
I'm not sure.
Someone Zulily. What is Zulily?
Seattle. That's Seattle.
Seattle, maybe Zulily. Are they called? What are we supposed to call them?
What does OL stand for?
I think it's a French thing.
Oh.
At the end of like last season, Olympique Lyon in France, it's a soccer. They purchased a majority ownership of Seattle Reign, and it became OL Reign. And then they changed the logo from the coolest logo ever to the dumbest lion.
Oh
Damn.
no.
Go look up the
Fuck
old
Lions,
logo. It's
am I
so
right?
cool. Okay. Fuck Lions. I just can't.
I feel like everyone's logo is a lion though. Am I wrong about that? Why do I think that?
Most 98%.
Except for the Chicago Myers.
Chicago Myers, the Houston no cancers.
They had no cancer, X out the cancer. Which is a valid thing. I feel like let's not make fun of them for wanting to cross out cancer.
No, none of us support cancer here. We do support Ted Roho.
Except for maybe Ted Yoko Ono. I don't know what his name is.
Wait, okay, so the Reigns old logo was like a Starbucks queen?
Yeah, but it was like, that's actually really accurate. Okay. Now I feel less bad about it leaving a Starbucks.
Is it?
No, it's a little bit like Galadriel. It's like a little bit like Lord of the Rings or like Game of Thrones energy.
Yeah, that's like, yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. If you're listening to this, you can absolutely Google what I Googled, which was OL Reign old logo. And it's the second one in. Anyway, so the no cancers.
The no cancers.
The Portland I can't remembers.
Some thorns.
I do like that with like the thorns as like kind of grayed out on their jerseys.
Oh, so cool. They have a couple. Both of their jerseys are really cool.
Oh, you know my favorite jersey or soccer outfit, as I like to call it,
or kit, as other people call it.
Sour Patch.
You do like the Sour Patch. I like the Utah jersey that looks like the last day of school and all the kids sign their names on it from afar. The white ones, but it's really like subtle crowns all over it, but it just looks like they're all autographed.
I like the sun one. That's cool.
Wait, what's the sun one?
It's Utah's like blue one with like.
I do like that one too. I didn't for some reason I'm not realizing it has a sun on it, but
it has mountains.
Okay,
or maybe it's not a sun.
Maybe it's a mountain.
No, it's like a
mountains,
sunset,
and I think it says like.
It could be both. That might be their sponsor.
Solial.
Yeah.
Solial.
I don't know how to say it.
I mean, either, and don't like put me on that. But that is, I do like that jersey as well, and that, it is.
You know, I really do love the sky blue black jersey with like the lightning bolt, and they're like light blue socks.
Too, I am into.
In fact, they're sky blue socks.
Sky blue?
Hey.
Sky blue? Yeah. Well, that's why it's confusing when they were playing the Red Stars, because they both have the light blue stuff going on. But I am a proud supporter of Mary Beth. You were about to say something.
Oh no, go ahead. It wasn't important.
I've been rooting for Sky Blue in this because of they are close to New York City, and Katie and I went to a game, and I did get a shirt there. So kind of like how when you spend money on something, it psychologically like reinforces your support of that thing. So that's sort of where I am. But I do really like the way they play.
And you know what I love about Sky Blue too is that they have the only female coach. And they have like staff of diversity. Like just full of women. Yeah. Their general manager is a woman.
Freya?
No, that's their coach, Freya Kuhn.
Yeah.
Elise LaHue, I think is her name, is their general manager.
Oh,
the GM. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to say that I have come around on Chicago. I don't know that I don't have a favorite team. I don't need all of Chicago to come for me when we inevitably are very famous with our podcast.
All your college friends.
All my college friends would be like, this seems right. She would feel this way. But I do like them now. They're lessening my regional bias in a way I did not think could happen. But I think I just have like 5 favorite teams and haven't chosen. I just want everybody to win. I just want to have fun.
That is not the way it works. Happy to tell you.
You have to be ruthless in sports, and take it from me.
This is why I didn't make it past 8th grade softball.
You know what's crazy though? When I was reffing, I had to and it was like a teams like rec teams that I didn't know or didn't have any sort of emotional affiliation with. I would choose a team that I was rooting for. I mean, you're supposed to have zero bias when you're reffing, but I would do this because sometimes when you have a team that you're rooting for, the calls become more obvious because you're emotional, like, not like, oh, I'm going to call all of these for the red team, but knowing that the red team, okay, like if my team is going that way, those like immediate like calls or whatever become a little bit more obvious, even as like a sideline rep when like I maybe I'm just fucking dumb, but like there would be times as a sideline ref where I would like know who hit the ball out, but would forget which way they were going. Does that make sense?
Makes so much sense. That
in
really
that
makes
moment,
sense to me. Yeah.
So I'd be like, okay, I'm rooting for the red team. Immediately, you know, like when you're playing,
So when
your
you
hand
say
automatically
they become
goes
more
up.
obvious, you mean not like to the people that are watching that you're favoring that team, but just the calls, like when a tackle happens, it becomes more obvious if it's a foul or not.
Honestly, yeah.
Okay.
And which way my hand automatically goes up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Sounds
Yeah.
like
So stupid.
you had some bias in your
and that's why I don't ref anymore.
And
they said no more. You cannot.
No more.
That's
People
what happens
said,
when you're a youngster and you ref.
And they let you ref a game. Okay. So part of the Challenge Cup has been sitting through commercials.
They've been just like 5 commercials this whole time.
Just the same secret commercial, the same Budweiser.
These jingles
Matthew
have been
so bring it back. $5
foot long. These commercials have been going through my head for weeks now. The same commercials just over and over.
Return of the Mac.
Oh my God.
Which I used to love.
I don't even know what that's a commercial for. I just have heard the song so
Google
much.
or some shit?
It's for Google, but I don't get it. Why? So is it saying that you search Mac and then here are all the things that come up for Mac? I don't get it.
Here's what happened. They decided they wanted to use Return of the Mac in their commercial, and they based their commercial around that concept.
I hate that so much.
That's exactly how I write every sketch show that I ever write.
I definitely want this to be about pretzels. What can I say?
We did write an entire show around doing a dance in diapers to I'm Your Baby Tonight. And it happened, and we wrote it, and people paid money to see it.
And I would pay again.
And that's comedy. And that's
Take
supporting
your pants
women.
off and do a dance to Whitney Houston on a small stage where everyone's eye level with your thighs.
That was courageous, and I loved every moment of it.
It was fine.
But yeah, the commercials are a lot. That's why mute was invented, I think.
I've been playing them on all. Full blast. Yeah.
We did discuss them a lot. Yeah. I'm ready to ask my doctor if Trulicity is right for me, and I do not have diabetes.
But it's convincing.
I definitely did buy some secrets, so.
Ooh,
that song has been.
You finish your commercial thought, and then we need to move on to these secret watch parties.
Oh, yeah. Oh my God, I can't wait. All I was going to say is that song has been in my head, and I want that to be the theme song for this podcast. I might just do it until anyone takes it down. And I truly have no idea what they're saying. I just always say no sweat, even though there's it's something different every time.
Just shout no sweat. I like that. I like that about you, Julia.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's get into these watch parties, though. Because first of all, I wasn't notified.
I don't know how you get into the watch party, but it's a very exclusive event that only L and E can attend.
The people who turn their videos off. These watch parties are whomever is in charge of them for each respective team, probably their marketing staff or whatever.
I'm sure it's their supporter. Yeah. Each team has a supporters group, so I'm sure it's people in the supporters group.
I need to get on.
They're boosters, if you will.
Yeah.
I want to be. If I were to go back in time, which I can't.
You have the technology, I believe.
Anything's possible. It's 2020. I would go onto the Facebook groups of each team and get on the watch party for every single one and then try and be in it.
I feel like for people that have no idea what we're talking about, the secret watch parties. So at these games, because it is the pandemic, there's no crowd. So like their way of making up for the crowd is to have like show every once in a while these secret watch parties. And they're not secret in like nobody knows about them. They're secret in that they're sponsored by Secret, the deodorant.
No, my dad says every time, I don't get why they're such a secret.
Classic. But yeah, so it's just like a Zoom chat of like 20 people. But the reason I'm so obsessed with them is because you can tell everybody's like connections and streaming are different, because it's always like one person cheering at different times. And then like the second they show up on TV, like 4 people leave. So it's just the little letter of their name. And so they're showing us like all these excited fans, but it's just a black screen with a little letter.
It's funny.
It brings me joy. And we learned that it's up on the scoreboard in the stadium. So like the players can see that. And it's so funny to me.
I also read like someone on Twitter said like, why is the same guy showing up in every secret watch party? Apparently it's like a Google employee, like Google Hangout employee, just like monitoring like the...
He's got to make sure nobody's like doing anything nuts.
See, that's the job I want. I'm coming for you, whomever you are.
How do I get into every secret watch party? The job that I want is to be the person that is in charge of the fake crowd noise.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of it being, there's no crowd, CBS has done us the honor of playing like cheering sound effects. And it sounds really real.
It does. It took me like a good, maybe half a game to be like, wait, I hear this noise and I'm realizing I don't see any people. But sometimes like you can tell someone else is in charge of it because the crowd is like more into the game than usual. So they've just like turned it up louder. One time I thought that the game was getting more exciting, but I turned up my volume. It was just me in charge of the crowd noise.
Honestly,
but they do like adjust it based on like when someone scores, they have like a different crowd to play. It's very exciting to me.
I wish that they would just get rid of it. I would like to hear the players, honestly, like on the sidelines yelling, or like I want to hear Julie Ertz bossing people around on the pitch. Like I want to hear that stuff.
You want to hear if there's any catty attitudes.
I want to hear the F-bomb being dropped.
Give me a game that's like as dramatic as an episode of Degrassi, but then like at the end they still are all friends. That's what I want every day of my life.
a written soccer game.
Oh man, I would love it.
It is funny. Well, there was at least one game where you can tell there's a mic by one of the end lines, because you could hear, I don't know, it was a few games ago, I can't remember.
I can't remember who it was, but someone was yelling.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can hear the goalies like be like, no, move over there. Like I've heard, like when they're like doing a set piece or something.
Oh, no. We're new at podcasts and learning about our microphones.
Watch your back. Yeah.
No, go get her. Cover her.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Katie. What if like the first half they gave us the funny crowd noise and then the second half they let us hear what they were saying.
Where it's picking up, where like the game is coming to an end. Yeah.
We'll write that. I'll put that in the suggestion box for next pandemic tournament.
You know it's gonna happen again.
Sometimes at this right. Well, I will say though that like this tournament has been so. I don't know if calming is the right word, but has I'm gonna look back on it once it ends on Sunday. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna be so sad. There's gonna be a void. There's something about it that has felt like home.
It has, it's honestly, it's given me something to look forward to, and it's helped me like track the passage of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, ooh, it's Wednesday. Like it's time to watch a game. It gives you like a reason, but it has been, I think it has been like, it's given us a routine and it's given us something to look forward to. And it's like good to watch. And it's like talented people. It's like it's a real sport that we can watch and we can be excited about. And I think that it's been very cool. I also think they've done a great job. No one seems to have gotten COVID, so they took care of the players, it seems.
Totally.
And
I also love that they worked with the Players Association to ensure that if people didn't feel comfortable participating, they'd still be paid their salary.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Because that's not true.
However low it is. But yes.
Right. Because that's not true of the WNBA.
Yeah.
Like, which sucks.
Yeah.
So.
And we'll get to that because, you know, it's a whole other issue. But it's just been so cool to watch this too, because it's got an added layer of just like emotion and gravity with it being, you know, during the Black Lives Matter movement and the pandemic in general, where, I mean, obviously our country is going through like a reckoning, and it's just been very cool to like see these players just like play through this and just like be there during this time and make statements. Yeah,
crazy that like they deserve. I mean, I can't imagine doing that. Like there's just
with very little preparation and like being willing to like up and leave their loved ones to go to another state during all of this, which like without knowing for sure that it's going to be like they say it's going to be safe, but you can't know for sure until you're a part of it. And then to be able to play at that level through it all, I think is pretty great.
You know, because when the pandemic started, it's not like they're able to go like practice every day. They're of course keeping shape on their own. They're all professional athletes. They're able to do that, but like there's nothing that is a substitute for actually playing the game at the highest level. And so now, you know, they trained for a couple weeks, but they missed months of training, and now they're going to play like a game every 3 days or so.
Yeah.
And you see like there's a lot of injuries and a lot of like
and they're playing on turf for most of it, which is bullshit, by the way.
Yeah, which is part of like
pretty gnarly wounds.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, Midge Purse tweeted a picture of like half the Sky Blue team showing off their like turf burns.
Yes, I saw that. Google it if you haven't seen it yet. There's a whole thing with like equity in women's soccer with like playing on turf as like a high school player is great because, you know, high school grass fields are rarely kept up, and it's like a treat to play on turf that, you know, you're not playing on muddy ass fields. Once you reach a certain level, turf is absolutely like not a good material. What am I looking for? Material?
No, you're material. Yeah,
material.
That seems right.
Seems right.
To play on. Turf, it's there's a higher percentage of injuries on turf. It's you know, they deserve to have well maintained grass fields, and part of the point is like the men would never, professional men like would never have to like play on turf, and it's like pretty bullshit.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's just take a
minute take a minute to let that sink in.
Moment of silence.
Yeah.
for the turf.
Yeah. I mean, so not only are these women like putting their bodies on the line, like for us, I don't know, I feel like really grateful to them that they gave me an NWSL season, you know, like
that they were willing to put their health on the line.
Yeah, because it is them they're taking risks to, you know, for our entertainment, really.
Yeah, totally.
And that's kind of why I've loved to see that how a lot of these players have been using their platform to like do amazing things. Just a lot of like cool stuff. Sarah Gordon with the Chicago Red Stars, she like organized this like Pass It On campaign where they raised like over like $15,000.
Yeah, and remind me what that was for again. I saw that.
So she like encouraged like other teammates to like pledge certain amount of money like for certain things, and like some of the players were like, I'll give $100 every time my coach yells at me during the game, or stuff like silly stuff,
or like every
that.
time I sprint all the way down the field, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, or like
Every time I get
every
yelled
goal,
at by the ref.
yeah. Every yellow card, so just like creative ways to like do that. And then I remember reading when the like tournament was like announced, or like when it was getting started, a lot of the players group or supporters groups kind of banded together and donated a lot of money to like indigenous groups in Utah in like recognition of the fact that they're playing on indigenous land, and like out of respect for that. So that was really cool. Just like, I mean, I'm sure there are like many other examples.
Totally. And they all not that this is like, again, the only thing, but they all wear like Black Lives Matter armbands. They're like, most of them are kneeling for the anthem, and just like there's so much solidarity in women's sports that, like, as a female athlete, there's an inherent like adversity that you have to face. So it makes sense that a lot of them are aware of and care so much about human rights issues, like the Black Lives Matter campaign, and of course, like teammates. They're there for each other, and it's fucking cool to see.
And I think being like a professional woman like professional female athlete. Woman athlete? I don't know. There's something inherently political about that. So, I mean, how like, if you look at some of these athletes, like their Twitter mention, it's just like men like telling them that they're nothing, and like, oh,
or like high school boys being like, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
That kind of like, no, you're not. Like, these ladies are like elite athletes. They're way better than you. You could not keep up with them.
Yeah. And I would just like to say that I know that I am a sack of trash. I could never do anything.
We do talk about this a lot. Yeah, like not a chance. I would run 10 yards and be dead on the ground.
I can't run a mile? No, I can't do that. I do not want to.
Not only can I not, but I'm not interested in doing it. I'll watch someone else do it, but
Julia, this is just a conversation for us right now. You've ran.
No, I'm a has-been. I'm definitely a has-been.
I do love to watch Julia run on her Instagram stories, but I would never do it with her ever.
I'm happy to support her. I'm happy to go cheer her on, but I will not be running next to her.
I will not be stepping. The dew point is high, Julia. I'm not going outside.
Look, if it's above 50%, is dew points in 50%?
No, it's degrees. I've learned a lot about dew points, and if it's above 70 degrees, it's oppressive.
I do not know what you are talking about.
Yeah, that's been another outcome of this. Is Mary Beth has taught me a lot. Well, she's learned a lot, and then
learned a lot about weather during the Challenge Cup, and taught Julia
about why we sweat just by sitting here.
Yeah, I'm like, look at all these ladies running around, and I'm like sitting outside watching a movie, and I'm so sweaty. So I started learning about the weather. All because of the Challenge Cup. And I've learned that it's the dew point and not the relative humidity that makes the air feel so moist and disgusting.
Oh.
So look into it. It's pretty fascinating.
Okay.
Yeah, it was crazy to learn this stuff. But I will say, like, this reminds me of, this is a little bit of a left turn, right turn, U-turn.
Everything has been a turn during this.
Okay.
We've not talked about the sport yet.
No, I think we've gotten there.
You said soccer at least 3 times so far. So
it's like the Bechdel test. Like, how many times have you talked about this part?
We have failed.
Oh, man. One of the things that kind of started, I know Mary Beth was talking, brought this to my attention, but it sort of started like the spark of you watching the Challenge Cup was the Players Tribune, like I almost want to call it a web series called The T. And it was, Katie, have you seen this? Yes.
I've told everybody to watch it. That's why I wanted to support women's sports.
We were texting about it. like
Yeah.
months and months ago.
Yeah, everybody go watch it. It's on Facebook. It's like
It's
the
also on
Players
YouTube,
Tribune,
isn't it?
the T. I don't know. I watched
Okay,
it on
maybe not.
Facebook.
Sorry.
But yeah, Julia, tell us about your experience watching that, because I know I was pissed off.
Yeah, it's really frustrating. I mean, to give a little bit of an overview, it was 5 female professional athletes. Krieger and Ashlyn Harris were represented the women's soccer. I don't know
A
if I
couple
Harper.
Yeah,
Eke
a couple
Agumake,
players.
Dawn Harper.
Yeah.
Dawn Harper, and then Brianna Stewart.
Yeah. A couple WNBA players, track, one track, what is track
runner,
participant, track human, and some soccer players.
And so they're sitting around and having conversations about like what they go through as female professional athletes, and they talk about pay, they talk about body image, they talk about motherhood and pregnancy, and traveling. Yeah, and it's a really cool thing, because how often do you get to like have these cross-sport conversations, and they get to like compare, the shit they go through in terms of like navigating the pay equity, lawsuit almost. What do we call that? The pay, like the demand for equal pay.
Yeah,
a disaster is what I call it. Like, why are they even having to do this? They're like the best athletes in our country, and they get paid nothing and get treated terribly, it seems. So I don't know if that, like, this is just my perception of it, but
yeah, I mean,
I'm not on board. Give them what they deserve.
Absolutely, and it needs to be a conversation, and it needs to be a conversation that we're all having. And part of the reason why it's so important to watch these games when they are televised, because even in the first place, it's so rare for these games to be televised unless it's the Olympics or the World Cup or whatever. So to have National Women's Soccer League games on like cable is or like major networks is really cool, and we need to be like giving them numbers.
Absolutely. And buy their merch and go to games when we're allowed to go to games, and like just support them. I think, which is also why it's so cool that this new LA team has popped up.
Let's
Angel
talk about
City,
that.
I think, is exciting. If I were the Louisville team, I'd be pissed, because I'd be so excited that like we're about to debut, and now this team has come and just like
we do not care about you anymore. Racing.
I am over
FC.
it. I like your mint and lavender colors, but
my only complaint is there was not enough mint.
I do like the
more
mint.
mint.
I do like the mint.
It had some more mint. No, I think Racing FC is fine. They had their moment last year when they announced an expansion team in Louisville. So this is just LA's turn for a minute.
Yeah,
and it's a very cool concept that it's like mostly women owned by a bunch of different demographics of women and actual athletes from the sport.
That's really
and it just
cool.
seems like a very supportive environment. And also they really want to get involved with the community, which I think is cool as well. So
something that they said in that that Players Tribune video series was, I forget who said it, but it may have been like Ashlyn Harris said, like, we need rich women to invest in women's sports. Like, the men have all these like rich dudes investing in their sports. A billionaire propped up MLS for years so that it wouldn't like go under. Like, we need women with money to open their wallets and invest and help us expand, and that will help in so many ways. So to see like LA, their ownership group, the diversity, the big names, like the money that is surely gonna go behind it is like so cool.
Yeah.
So cool.
And one of the things, go ahead.
No, I just was going to add, I think it's like a model for other cities moving forward. Like if we want to expand further, like, yeah, you can have a lot of owners and
totally. And I like that it's going to be dispersed, like having one person, in charge. Oh, I mean, for so many reasons, I whatever. But one of the things I think is cool too is like they are putting their money where their mouth is, and one of the things they're committed to is like the paying the team like equitable rates compared to the men, and part of that is like that's all part of like the players union and what they're going through in demanding as players. But exactly like you said, Katie, it's going to be an example. But some of the names, so it's like Serena and her husband and daughter.
And her child. I'm
Truly,
obsessed with that.
But like DJ Khaled's kid can go take a nap. We're ready for Olympia.
Yes.
Bring out Olympia.
What's her doll's name?
Oh,
I have not Googled that at 3 a.m. I don't know.
Sorry, she has a doll. She
tonight.
likes obsessed with her doll, and it has its own like Instagram.
Oh my God, I want her to own.
I want her doll
team
to be an owner too. So.
Her doll might be an owner soon. I love it.
Yes, but like a bunch of the 99ers.
Eva Longoria, Jennifer Garner, Uzo Aduba, Jessica Chastain, Mia Hamm, Julie Foudy,
Abby Wambach,
Glennon Doyle, like all these a ton of 99ers.
Yeah.
Like
the only thing I feel I that's like a negative side to it is like I feel bad for all the other NWSL teams. Everyone's going to be like, that's my team. Angel City, that's my team.
I'm going to Angel City.
Yeah. But no, I mean, I'm truly obsessed, and this is like, it's like so damn cool.
And I hope that it starts to pop up other places too. Like I hope other people take their lead. Yeah.
Do you know how many rich ass female actors there are that can band together and do this?
Do you know how I immediately Googled billionaires from Michigan to see
get us a Detroit team, please.
Yeah. The Walton family. I mean, I just went down an Instagram wormhole of like billionaires and their fuckery. But imagine.
Imagine all the people.
It can happen. It can happen if we believe. I'm gonna hold out for a Detroit team before I pick my favorite. And then even if they're very bad, they will still be my favorite based on the history of other Detroit teams.
Yeah, I mean, if we're allowed to root for, if people are allowed to root for the Lions, I think we can root for a bad.
Also, I think we need to make a space where women can be bad.
Yeah, yes, you're right. You're right.
It's totally fine for there to be a bad women's professional sports team.
And then I'd like somebody to let me into that space.
Normalize women being sacks of trash and then getting paid a shit ton of money for it.
Not that any of these ladies are getting paid a shit ton of money at all.
Oh no,
that's what we're advocating for.
Yeah,
and we want them to be bad, and then we want them
to get paid regardless of their skill level.
Exactly, just to prove a
point. This is my millennial dream.
Yeah, but it's like that White American Theater letter though that was like, hey, thanks for funding and promoting and everything, the Hamiltons and the Hadestowns. But what about the ones that didn't do well and then you cancel those immediately? Give us support all the way through. I mean, like, diverse art and sport needs to be supported and funded equally.
Yeah. Yes. I also think it's worth like noting too that just because it's like a like professional women's sport doesn't mean it's not with its own like diversity issues and challenges too. Totally. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind.
Well, I mean, soccer, soccer in itself is just like a very access oriented and privilege based sport and inherently very white. And there's an awesome podcast. Our direct competition, but Julie Foudy's podcast. But seriously, she interviews who is it? Jessica McDonald and Crystal Dunn.
Crystal?
Yeah. And it's just like an awesome, candid conversation about their experiences as Black female athletes, and especially Black female soccer players, and the racism that they've just endured for years and years and years. And, you know, especially in the wake of the Black Lives Matter movement since George Floyd's death, they bring to light like a lot of really awesome points that like people are just blind to in sports for sure, especially
even just
sports.
in terms of like commentators, like the way they talk about Black athletes is like
that's what they talked about.
Racist. Yeah. Oh, I've like noticed it, especially about Crystal Dunn. They're always talking about her pace and her power, and it's like, excuse me,
what about her?
This player can play any position
right.
on the field, and she is probably the best in the world.
Yes, that's exactly what they were talking about. Like they overlook like the creativity and the technical skill that these players might have by, you know, using these words that get just you know, Black people get described as in you know, as threats in the normal world, like you know, strong and you know, fast and aggressive. Yeah, exactly.
I was listening to an interview with Crystal Dunn. I can't remember where. It was maybe like within the last year for sure. And she was saying just that, like, even on the club level, youth coaches don't develop Black players in the same way that they do white players, because they just are like, oh, you're really fast. That's all you can do. And it hinders their development. And that was like, just like something that I was like, never even thought of that. Like, there's my privilege on display.
Yep. Where you would spend time, you know, in like extra, you know, trainings or whatever with like athletes you think have like more potential, you automatically think that like the raw talent is all, raw athleticism is all like these players have, which is like so counterproductive. And then, you know, it's just metaphoric for the entire world of like deciding what a person's place is, and which is a negative feedback loop of like not hearing or understanding what people are capable of. And when you don't, then you keep them in a certain place. So it's just like a negative feedback loop of oppression.
Yeah, kind of trapping people in a box of one area when they can't then show off like, oh, look how honestly like well-rounded I am in this sport, but all you can focus on is like I can run really fast from there to there.
Yeah, if you're only looking at my speed, you're not seeing me nutmeg people or how they read the game, like their skill in reading the game.
Yeah, totally. Well, I think I mean, we've talked for a good amount of time. I think I could talk to you guys for forever, but we're gonna have to do another one after the final on Sunday, which we'll talk about.
And I'll have more nonsense to add to it.
On Sunday, we're gonna be watching the Challenge Cup final. It's at 12:30, right?
12:30 Eastern time.
12:30 Eastern time.
I think
on CBS. Yeah.
I think it's on real CBS.
Yeah.
Okay. Love to hear that one. So everyone should tune in. I don't know when this podcast is going to come out, but probably I'm hoping to get it done tomorrow.
Who's to say? Are you going to get it out before the final?
Oh, I'm going to do my best.
Are you profesh? All right.
It's
and then like Maggie will listen to it and she'll watch the game.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. 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 And anything else that anyone wants to promote before Sunday? But no, I'll get it done.
Friendship.
And we'll do another episode if people are available on Sunday to talk about the final and what our thoughts were.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you I'm available
at any time.
The pandemic is over, and then I'm still available.
Wonderful. And then our intent is to talk about women's sports as we move forward. We don't know. I mean, we don't know how often we're going to do this. We don't know what our name is going to be.
We don't know what we're going to watch, but it'll be a variety of sports.
Yeah, exactly. And to say that we are coming for Kelly O'Hara's podcast, Julie Foudy's podcast, any podcast out there that talks about women's sports, we're literally coming for you, and you better watch your back. And any sponsor that wants to sponsor us.
I'm looking
Mary
at you,
Beth,
Trulicity.
Katie. Yeah. We're looking at you, Trulicity. $5 footlongs.
Secret. No
Secret. No sweat. Budweiser.
Just to be clear, we are
has
not
some-
sponsored by any of these.
Nobody knows who we are.
No. And look, we don't know who they are. But no, we're excited. Just to close this out, though, I think we have one final thing to do, and that is to go through who we think is going to win on Sunday, and one other prediction you have for the game that can be anything, just in case.
All right, guys, I'm gonna go with the Chicago Red Stars.
Katie's voice is going to be like 8 different volumes throughout
Sorry.
this podcast.
Okay. I'm taking it back. Okay. All right. I'm going to go with the Houston Dash because I think they are very young and scrappy, and they really, really want this. They really want to win. They've got a lot to prove. So I'm rooting for them. I think they're really fun to watch. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. That's my prediction.
Mm-hmm.
And someone's going to break a leg.
In
the metaphorical
acting sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm nervous that like someo's going to, this is all your fault.
Someone's
now.
gonna have really good luck.
One of
their
their
show.
teams is going to have a really great luck in their show.
They're gonna absolutely kill it. You want to go
Okay.
next or me?
Yeah. So I know I've talked a lot of shit about the city of Chicago, but first of all, my sincerest apologies. Chicago, I do visit you often, and I do love you. And I am rooting for the Red Stars to win. I think that they will take this one. You know, my girl Savannah McCaskill on that team, fan of her.
Obsessed.
I think she's good at soccer. I don't know what good at soccer means, but she looks like she's good at soccer. I think the Red Stars are going to win. And if I see them grabbing any of Houston's arms, I'm going to go ahead and say it's not them doing it. They're not the ones.
Yeah, and then we're
It's
gonna
the,
see that the common denominator is Houston Dash.
Yeah, it's if it happens 3 times, it's gotta be the Dash. But also, I wish them nothing but the best. I just want everybody to win.
Yeah, I just want to clarify. I'd be totally happy if Julie Ertz won. If the Chicago Red Stars won.
Just Julie Ertz.
If Julie
No one
Ertz
else.
wins this one,
I love Julie.
she wins the Oscar.
I was telling Julia that she seems just like so warm and welcoming, and like she would hang up my backpack after school and bake me cookies, but also I'm quite sure I'm like 5 years older than her. And so like I should be
she's
doing
younger
that
than
for
all of
her.
us.
Yeah, she's way younger than me. But
She does
she
have
seems-
that
she
sweet
seems
friend
lovely.
energy.
Yeah. She seems
Aw.
lovely. And I just want like what I wish for is like just everybody to come back and everybody gets to play and everybody gets to win.
Get out of here with that.
Mary Beth can't stress enough how much she wants socialism
I
in
just
soccer.
I just want socialist sports and for everybody to be okay and get along.
That's the area where I'm against socialism. Is in sports.
DSA for NWSL. Democratic Socialist of America? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But you have to remember though that even like the lowest ranked teams in this league have proven themselves to be pretty fucking amazing. Take Portland Thorns beating the first seed North Carolina Courage in the
But was
knockout
there not-
round.
They were all tied for the most part. Like they all seem to be pretty equal, equal footing.
That's-
So it's
and
just
that's-
like
and that's-
exciting.
Right.
This is what I want.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I think you're like getting exactly what you want.
Everyone gets to be tied in my
someone
heart.
has to win. Okay. I mean,
What about you, Jules?
I think that I'm going to go Chicago Red Stars on this one. I think Julie Ertz is going to come to play, as will Savannah McCaskill. And I think Groot is going to score. I hate to say it. I hate to say it. But I just have a feeling that they're gonna come to play. Not to mention, Alyssa Nair, I think, is gonna have a heck of a game. But
She's
we
good
can't.
and looks like the girl from Stick It.
Yeah, truly, her hair is getting so long, and I identify with that.
It is getting so long.
I like how we've all chosen our favorite players based on their hairstyles and how we identify with it.
But honestly, let's not count out Jane Campbell. She just seems, less experienced.
She just makes me nervous and reminds me of Ryan Sheckler.
Yeah. But here's my prediction though. If they go to PKs, which I think is possible, I would love to see Jane Campbell and Alyssa Nair go up against
that. Would be very exciting.
Be amazing.
I'm honestly almost rooting for that.
What I want to happen is for them to go into PKs, tie, and then go into sudden death.
We haven't seen it yet, and I would love to see it. So I'm going to root for a 2-2 tie into PKs where it remains a tie, and then sudden death, and
then both teams win because nobody dies, and then they tie.
And they just play for 3 hours, and then we can just keep watching.
And then we just all go to Meyer to celebrate and buy some eggs.
We all have to go to the place of the winning team's sponsor. So
you have to go to No Cancer
Center. Go to Meyer.
Cool. Okay. I think that's it for us. So far in the running, our names are Savannah McCaskill Fan Club.
I'm a sportswoman now.
I'm a sportswoman now.
No like sweat. Play on. I saw
on.
Play on pop up in the chat down there.
Play on.
Somebody
I saw
said
that,
it, and I was like, "Hey, we should play on."
Play on.
Oh
yeah.
Play on.
Lady balls. No.
If you have any,
I don't like that.
Lady balls.
I don't know why I said that. Can you edit that out? Thank you.
Yeah, I will.
Got it. Leave it. Start with it. Lead with it.
Put it first. If you have any suggestions, let us know in our thing.
So Maggie, when you watch this, please tell us.
Please don't watch it. Please just listen.
Yeah, please just listen.
Yeah, I am in my basement. So.
This is also going to take a second. I mean, you can't just go put it on Apple Podcasts either.
We'll just mail
you kind of need a name,
but via support the postal service.
Support the postal service.
Support the
USPS.
Yeah. Okay, well, guys, let's wrap it up here. And all in all, I love you guys. I love soccer, and I love sports in general.
Okay. Are we done? Do we all do it?
Yeah. No, yeah. And then you guys say, okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.